of the Dragon. Flaming Dragon Friday. Appreciate you guys joining us. Got a great show for you as usual. Got a lot to get to. But first, before we do, make sure you hit that subscribe button. The phone line's going to open 2:45 p.m. Central. You can call us at 1-855-236-3228. Try and keep it at 30 seconds to keep it moving along. I know a lot of people want to call in, give their opinion on a bunch of different things. But Cone, last night, before we get into this, a little bit of NFL here, DeAndre Campbell just walked off during the third quarter of the game when the Niners asked him to go in. Said he didn't want to play, walked to the locker room. Y'all probably can take a guess on how we feel about it. Just your thoughts.
So he just left the field, right?
Just left.
No injury.
Suited up.
Didn't want to play.
Here he goes.
Left the game.
No.
Didn't want to play.
Didn't Kittle come out? Didn't George Kittle come out?
Dude, Kittle came out. They've had guys on defense come out that have just roasted him.
Imagine getting to play the game professionally and you quit like that.
Yeah. We got, George Kittle right here if you want to go ahead and play it.
I don't like distractions on the sideline. I think that's ignorant, and I think it's just dumb. It's just stupid, and it's very immature. And I just don't. I don't see how that's I just don't see how you can do something like that to your team.
I think he's exactly right. This would be frowned upon in middle school, high school, college, definitely. But we always talk about, should college football players be employees? Dog, you're an employee of an organization, of the NFL. This is your job. And, if you're hurt or something's going on and you can't play, you don't suit up. Because when you suit up, and you heard multiple 49ers players bring this up, you are expected to play, especially when they need you. To me, you would have been cut before we even got on the bus going to the next destination or going back or whatever. I know it was a home game for them. This is unacceptable.
Well, especially for this locker room. Think about the stuff that's happened to this team this year. Travarius Ward lost his 1-year-old daughter. Trent Williams, first ballot Hall of Famer. His wife had a stillborn child. Ricky Pearsall got shot.
Yeah.
Got shot before the season, and all three of these guys are working to come back. And you pull a stunt like this, it's sickening to me. It's absolutely sickening to me.
I've never seen this happen in the NFL. I've never seen, not like that.
I've seen Antonio Brown do the same thing.
Yeah, Antonio. And his was, that whole saga to me is like a circumstance in its own. The fact that he's been able to stay as relevant as possible. But man, you just literally said, no, not today. I couldn't imagine. I don't care if I was if I was a spam salesman, calling in saying, no, just not today, for any other reason than you're hurt or you're sick or an emergency happened. That's just, I couldn't believe that when I saw that. I've never seen that like that way before. So you got to be gone, right? You're dressed as a tree, but boy's got to be gone.
Look, this tree can cut a guy. I know that. You're cut before you make it to the tunnel. You're cut right after you say you don't want to play. You're immediately cut. If first of all, the 49ers season has been a low-key disaster this year, a lot of injuries. But, there's no way you can let this bleed into a locker.
There's no coming back from that either. There's no excuse you could give me that would.
You got to cut the arm off.
He'll try and spin this as he was hurt, and I had an injury or something.
Well, then don't suit up. That's the whole. Trent Williams was up there in the press box watching the game last night because he couldn't play. Crazy. Travis Hunter wins the Biletnikoff Award. Will he win the Heisman? Tennessee fans apparently are buying up a ton of tickets in the shoe, and we break down which college football coaches are on the hot seat heading into 2025, and buddy, there's a lot of them at some big-time places. I'm Jake Crain, and welcome to the Flamin' Dragon edition of Crain & Company. It seems over the past 2 years, there hasn't been too much high-profile coaching movement at some of the top jobs in college football. But heading into 2025, we may actually have more high-profile coaches in high-profile places feeling the heat than we have had in a long time. Now, I don't like talking about guys potentially getting fired, especially being in the business previously, But it's the reality in this league, and with high salaries come high expectations. There are tiers to the proverbial hot seat as well. Some coaches may be starting to feel a low burn, but others are scorching and starting to sweat. Let's just look at the SEC, for example. It seems like Billy Napier at Florida, Hugh Freeze at Auburn, and Mark Stoops at Kentucky, and possibly Sam Pittman at Arkansas have to win now. Now, this could be Coach Pittman's last year regardless, but if it isn't, he's got to win. Then you have coaches who need to restore the faith, like Brian Kelly at LSU, Kalen DeBoer at Alabama, and Brent Venables at Oklahoma. Looking around the country, it's been announced Ryan Day will be back next year at Ohio State, but I wouldn't say his seat is exactly chilly right now. Lincoln Riley at USC has to make a move. Mike Norvell at FSU's been struggling, and there are many others. So we may have had a little grace period as far as the big brands go in the coaches movement storm, but next year could be a five-alarm fire for many top programs, and we all know the chaos that brings with it. To my left, the birthday boy.
Woo!
That's right. The ripe old age of 23. Former Michigan quarterback.
I'm 66.
Did you like the picture this morning? Come on, it was sweet.
First of all, that picture was gas. Why do I have to be 66 on the
We
AI
got Cone out here saying gas and purse.
Oh no, we have.
I'm watching
Cone
grow
is
up. And it's just great to
catching
be a
up.
part
I
of it.
won't use either of those words to describe.
Maybe they put you as a 66 years old because of the get off
I
my
know
lawn.
that's what it is. That is what.
I think they
also
do
this is the 666th episode.
That's why they did.
on Friday the
That's why they
13th.
did.
I'm just trying to get home safe.
No, I've been worried since we came in here. Like it's like if
I'm
something
scared.
And your birthday,
combat it.
come back.
Can it? You
the
think?
evil.
Can we overcome this?
The
Right.
666th episode on Friday the 13th.
I just needed to get to 12:01 tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, and
You
look,
enjoy your
can you just your and your Christmas sweater as well, the wolf.
I think this is Game of Thrones. Winter's
Game of
here.
Thrones? I like that.
Winter is here. That's
I like
Ghost.
And we all know who this guy is on my right on a Friday. Let's play the graphic.
This is flaming vodka!
I should have a sword.
Right.
We can get you a flag to plant.
A flaming sword for a flaming dragon.
For a flaming god.
dragon plus a Christmas tree equals dragon tree.
You're a dragon tree.
Dragon
today.
tree. All right.
Wow.
The number 0.5.
Yes.
0.5?
They
All
wanted-
right.
they
If
wanted
you're new to the
perfection.
show, on Fridays, we're not allowed to use my brother's government name. So we call him Flaming Dragon, or what I call him all the time, Flaming. He's also dressed as a tree today, so he's a dragon tree. But speaking about hot and dragon breath, Cone, some of the names I just brought up, and again, everybody's not in the same circumstance.
Yeah.
Hasn't it felt like the last 2 years has been kind of low key? Not that no high profile things have happened. I mean, obviously, Brian Kelly went to LSU. That's starting to get older now. But we haven't had this many big time places with coaches that seem to be in some big time predicaments.
Yeah, and the different, like, each circumstance is so different. That's kind of what makes it unique. I mean, just take Mike Norvell, for instance. You go undefeated one year and then 2-10 this year.
Yeah.
Both times you kind of leaned on the transfer portal. Like, what does that mean for next year? I don't know what sort of equity, like, he feels like he's, built up there at the program. Brian Kelly, another interesting situation. You come in, win the SEC West in year one, beat Alabama, and then have a Heisman Trophy winner go 9-3, and then this year it wasn't really working. I think the most fascinating to me, though, is Lincoln Riley. I mean, for a couple reasons. First 3 seasons at Oklahoma, 12-2 as a head coach, taking over for Stoops. Then you go 9-2 in the COVID year, 10-2 in your last year at Oklahoma, 11-3 in your first year at USC, 3 Heisman Trophy winners during all that, and then back-to-back seasons of 8-5 and then 6-6 this year with your first stint in the Big Ten. Had to bench your quarterback late in the season. Lincoln Riley, to me, is a heck of a football coach. And I'm just wondering how he's going to respond with all the changes that are happening around college football, and you're in the Big Ten now. New schedule, a lot of things to consider. And Notre Dame's not going off that schedule either.
No, and it didn't help that Oregon went in and won the conference.
And they're going to play Notre Dame and Oregon and Michigan next year.
Yeah, so, it's, and again, I like Flaming going through these tiers, right? Because Brian Kelly is not getting fired after next year, I don't think. Kalen DeBoer is not getting fired after next year, I don't think. But the interesting one is like Brent Venables. Like, we all love Brent Venables, right? We think he's a daggum good football coach. But Oklahoma just watched Texas play in the SEC championship game, now make the college football playoff. They were 6-6 in their first year. What happens if they go 7-5 next year? What happens if they go 6-6 next year? Will we see Oklahoma possibly make a move? Now, the easiest ones to identify are the ones that have to win now. I think Mark Stoops has to win next year at Kentucky, or they're going to fire him. As crazy as that sounds and as much credit as he's garnered there. But Flaming, like, where do you put some of these coaches that may not get fired next year in one category, but then you look at Ryan Day. Like, what happens?
Well, he's definitely not getting fired. They already said it.
I'm talking about next year, like, you're going to be on the hot seat. The AD didn't come out and say, guess what? You're coming back next year. Impossible for you to be on the hot seat. He had to come out and say that you're coming back next year. You only do that for two reasons. One, there's some actual smoke where there's fire about maybe needing to move on from him, or there's been rumors about somebody else poaching him, and you want to let everybody know that he's not going anywhere. What is the difference between what the Florida AD did for Billy Napier and what the Ohio State AD did for Ryan Day? Two totally different
I just
journeys,
don't know at what point.
But
at what point do you fire Ryan Day for you're allowing him to do the same thing and still being hired? So what year does it, if he doesn't beat Michigan again or doesn't make a run in the playoffs, are they going to do it? Because he keeps doing it and they don't fire.
Well, maybe this is the first.
So I feel like we talk about the same thing. We just look in the mirror and say the same thing about Ryan Day. I don't know at what point will they fire him. I don't know how many years it takes for you to keep losing the big game, have a $20 million roster, lose to an average Michigan team. That's not a shot at you, David. And then if you don't make a run in this playoffs, you're still going to keep his job. So, like, that's kind of confusing to me. The Billy Napier situation is a lot different. Trust me, I've been critical of Billy Napier. It's a way they looked later in the season, the second half of the season. I will say this, DJ Lagway is going to be a special talent. I think we can all agree on that, but I just want to make sure the standard at Florida is the same standard that I remember watching Florida play with. And, I mean, at the end of the day, you had a 7-5 season, and you're the University of Florida. And Billy's in what year? Year 3, correct? And if we talk the same thing about Brett.
Going into year 4.
Going into year 4, and we're talking about Venables. Venables is in year 2. What happened to the days to where it's at least year 3 before we can start judging kids?
And I'm with you, right? That's what we're saying with Hugh Freeze, too. He's going into year 3. Right? But it's the progress that you show by year 3, but it's been sped up. Why? Because of the transfer portal, because of the evolution of the game, because the salaries continue to rise as well. So when you're able, and there's proof of concept. We've seen teams get flipped because of the transfer portal. Look at the way the transfer portal has treated Florida State. It was amazing for them around Jordan Travis 2 years ago. Disaster for them this year. Look at what Colorado did through the transfer portal. That's why when Prime was winning, I kept saying, all the coaches across the country, this isn't a great thing for them because it shows you can go in there and move that bus and fix that program, to use whatever that housing show they built. But for the Ryan Day thing, David, I want to throw this back at you. Because to me, every different coach is circumstantial. Just like every player leaving, there's a circumstance to it. Here's kind of, to me, what goes into the recipe of Ryan Day's future, right? When you get hired at Ohio State, you get hired to beat Michigan. You got to beat Michigan. But if you're not going to beat Michigan, especially if you're not going to consistently beat Michigan, you better be winning national championships and not really losing any games outside of that. Ryan Day has a really good record outside of losing to Michigan, but he hasn't done a lot from a national championship standpoint or enough lately to appease losing to Michigan. So what I think would have to happen for Ryan Day to get fired, and it could very easily happen if you see injuries that derail you in 1 year or whatever. What happens the first year he goes 8-4 and loses to Michigan, where we're not sitting here, and even 9-3. I think if Ohio State went 9-3 this year and lost to Michigan, there was a chance that they would have fired him. So it's not just one thing; it's multiple ththings coming together. Think about the way, and Ohio State people, we want to call in and hear from you. The way that Ryan Day will be looked at depending on what happens in this playoff.
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, that where you're
Well, and you guys know with the Iron Bowl, because it's been the same way. Historically, it's been very difficult to have any postseason success if you lose that game. Remember when we were doing this just a couple years ago, and we were looking at Jim Harbaugh's inability to beat Urban Meyer, and I said, well, that's what it comes down to. If you can't beat the Buckeyes, you can't make the Big Ten championship game. If you don't make that, you really can't make the college football playoff. So short of that one season where we saw Ryan Day lose to Michigan, but then still squeeze in, I believe it was at the number 4 seed, and went and played a really good game against Georgia. They had C.J. Stroud that year, lost to Stetson Bennett. Other than that, it's been hard to have postseason success. Now with an expanded playoff, they're going to get their opportunity. I think the AD's comments were about instilling confidence for this game upcoming against Tennessee. Hey, we support you. Your job's safe. Go out and beat Tennessee. But if you don't, maybe it won't be so great next year.
Yeah, well, we've seen it backtrack.
I mean, who would get fired first, Ryan Day or James Franklin? Because they're basically the Spider-Man gif on both of them not winning anything important.
Well, are they? I mean, Ryan Day keeps beating him at least.
He does, but listen, and I'm not saying Penn State doesn't have any rivals, but me and you can say, oh, it's from because you're from the South. I don't think Penn State has a Michigan like it's that deep. To me, Penn State's Michigan is Michigan. And Penn State's other rival is Ohio State. What has been the knock on James Franklin? It's like double Ryan Day because he keeps losing to both of them. Like Ryan Day keeps losing to one team and not winning a national championship. And here's the problem with Penn State. For the life of them, they cannot play complementary football when it matters the most in the biggest game. It's amazing. It's like if the right arm's doing great, the left arm has to fail. I'll give you an example. Look at the Ohio State game. Defense comes out. You're up 10-0. You get a pick six. Offense falls flat. Ohio State's able to come back. You're never able to get back in the game. Not that the defense played perfect, but you weren't able to play complementary football. Then look at the Oregon game. Yeah. Offense is balling. Offense is balling, but you can't stop them. Penn State just doesn't do a good job of playing complementary football at the same time in a big game. At least Ryan Day has won a couple other big games.
He's 66-10 since he's been in Ohio State. I mean, that's really good. That's really good. But I wonder, what are those top 25 wins, top 10 wins? I mean, championship wins. Sooner or later, you spend $20, and I don't think the fans like them. Even with all these wins, 66 of them, the fans don't feel like they like them. And then this flag planting stuff came out, makes them hate him even worse. I've never seen a guy win so many games and still be hated as a head coach. I haven't met an Ohio State fan, really, out of all of them, who likes Ryan Day.
I just think that should speak volumes to how great of a college football coach Urban Meyer is.
Yeah.
He was that good,
yeah.
man. And I don't know if we've seen the last of him in college football. He came out and said he's not going to coach again and all that.
He's going to be back, David.
Someone's going to get him.
You know he's going to be back. They found Yoda on that planet.
Remember John Gruden? John Gruden said it for years. No, I'm loving Monday Night Football. I'm loving it. Finally, he got reeled back.
But of course, they always do.
Little correction. Britton Venables is in year 3.
Yeah.
I said year 2. Excuse me. Hugh Freeze at Auburn right now. I got some stats for y'all if you want them. He's 9-13 at Auburn. Mike Norvell is 32-26 over 5 seasons. Lincoln Riley is 25-14 with the Trojans. Billy Napier is 15-18 since being in Florida.
What's Mike Norvell's?
Is 32-26.
God, this last year just destroyed that overall record. That's tough. All right, I want to get to the chat, then we're going to move on.
All right, Chad, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If you donate, it's on topic. It will get read. And yes, I'm a Christmas tree, and it is David's birthday, so appreciate all the donations. Dennis Feinstein, CEO, says Ryan Day and James Franklin are the same guy in general. They win everything except the big games, and I don't see that changing.
But doesn't it feel like Ryan Day has won more big games than James Franklin? Like I'm trying to think, because I know Penn State holds themselves in a high standard. Beating Maryland and all that's great. I don't want to disrespect Maryland. Mike Loxley's another guy that may be in trouble next year when you start to really think about it. But like, who is Penn? Like, what big game outside of early, when I think they won the Big Ten? Penn State with James Franklin. What game since has he won that's been big? Like, I'm sitting here thinking, I remember the bowl game from last year. Who they play? Ole Miss? They lost that one too. They just, for the life of them, they just can't play complement. You put Michigan State in front of them. It'll be complimentary football like you've never seen. It'll be like a breakfast at a nice hotel chain. Complimentary, delicious, fun to be a part of. Make you feel rich and good and warm inside. But then they play Michigan or Ohio State or Oregon and just they turn into they're paraplegic, man.
And it has to feel tough for OSU that we drew Tennessee and y'all drew SMU and we beat y'all. We both lost to Oregon, but we have the head-to-head over Penn State and you got the higher seed. I guess, a lot of that comes down to they had to play an extra game in the championship.
Can I say, I know we're in the chat, but can I say this real quick about Arkansas? If there was ever a time from what I've heard from people that I trust over there, is that I believe it's Sam Pittman's last year on his contract, right? That's another reason they decided to keep him this year. And that he's thinking about retiring anyway after this year, regardless of how it goes. If you are planning on retiring right now, I think you should name a head coach in waiting.
Sure.
I think you need to lock one of those coordinators up. If it's Petrino, if it's T-Will, or whatever, if now is the time for the good of Arkansas, if you're not going to retire, then don't. And again, I don't know exactly what he's going to do. But I know Sam Pittman wants to do the right thing.
He may not have the call.
He may not have the call.
There may be an internal political battle
but
going on.
To me, if there was ever a time to name a head coach in waiting, it is at Arkansas right now.
All right, let's go to a $5 donation from Shane. $10, excuse me. He says, happy Friday, gents. To be honest, I didn't care for the Norvell hire at FSU from the start. I think last year was more of an outlier. If he turns it around, I'll eat crow. He banks on the TP too much.
Well, you live by the sword, you die by the sword, but you've been on both ends of that spectrum. And again, remember, Jordan Travis, unless for some reason my mind just stopped working, wasn't a transfer. They built around Jordan Travis through the transfer portal. I just think and I sat here and said it, and FSU had a lot of problems. But when you brought in DJU, we sat on this show and told y'all were cooked. And there were people, I went on FSU shows, and I said it, and they would, no, that's wrong, this, that, and the other. And FSU had way more problems than that. And that's the scariest part. It's not just that you misevaluated at quarterback. You misevaluated at a lot of places. And that's what should give Florida State fans pause. But I'm not ready to bury Mike Norvell yet. It's amazing. He was the golden boy of college football last year, especially after what happened when they got left out of the playoff. So I think you got to give him a little more time. But the problem is, it's not like you went 5-7.
Mm-hmm.
Like you went 2-10. That immediately, there's something, we're terminally ill. Something is awful. So as high as you can get up by winning that amount of games, you can go low just as quickly by having a 2-10 year at Florida State.
Let's go to the T-Pro 83. He says, still think Luke Fickell's probably on the hot seat internally. Wisconsin doesn't even look like Wisconsin anymore. They're definitely not jumping around for the right
I know what you're looking up right now. That
can
schedule
we read it off, man?
Read off Wisconsin. This is like going into your house, staying late at work, walking into your house when it's dark and getting jumped by a group of ninjas with baseball bats.
Listen to what Luke Fickell has next season. Miami of Ohio, Middle Tennessee, at Alabama, Maryland, at Michigan, Iowa, Buckeyes, at Oregon, Washington, at Indiana, Illinois, and then at Minnesota.
So that sucks, especially the middle part of that. That's not fun. Good luck. Better work out.
$2 donation from Coach Ramey. Appreciate it, Seth. He says, is Ohio State wasting their time bringing Ryan Day back?
Who would you go get?
Yeah,
who would you hire right now?
Like, who would it be? It'd have to be somebody big. If you're going to move on from this guy, it needs to be a big splash name. Urban's not going back.
Urban already said no.
Yeah, he already said he's not going to do it. Who would I hire? Who would I go after? There's one guy I'm calling first.
Well, Bill Belichick is it?
No, his name rhymes with Dick Slavin. That's what it rhymes with.
I don't think so.
Rick Babin. I love that guy.
Yeah.
God, he did great in D2. All right, let's go to RD. What's up, man? Question, guys. Would Kirby be in the same spot as Day if they didn't have a natty?
Well, I mean, that's like saying, would a giraffe be short if it wasn't tall? Like it's...
Or you could say Day would be in the same spot as Kirby if he did have a natty.
Yeah, but he did though. Like you did the best twice in a row. Like that's so, I see what you're getting at, but like...
It's more Mark Richt.
What would you say is, what you're asking is would Georgia react the way that a lot of Ohio State fans react to Ryan Day?
Well, the answer is yes.
Yeah.
Mark Richt.
Yeah,
like Mark Richt is a better comp, right? Like, wasn't Mark Richt winning 10 games every single year, but kind of couldn't beat Florida or win the national championship? I was at a football camp with Mark Richt, and this kid asked him a question. He said, hey, how many SEC championships did y'all win, and how many national championships did y'all win? It was like innocent, like this young kid. And Mark Richt said, we won, however many, 2 or 3 SEC championships when I was there, and we didn't win any national championships, or else I'd still be the head coach there.
That was the thing with Mark Richt. I wonder, too, with Cristobal at Miami. I'm not saying he should be on the hot seat, but man, you didn't make it with these guys.
12-team playoff
this year. That's tough.
I don't know, man. Y'all sucked before you got there.
That's tough. All right. Well, they need to be more responsible, and you need to be responsible as a man. So let me tell you about responsible man. What is it? Flaming Dragon says, well, dressed like a tree.
I'm a tree.
Yes, you are, Flaming Dragon. Yes, you are. It is a multivitamin that is packed with 33 key ingredients that support your immune system, sharpen your brain, and keep your heart and muscles strong. And here's the kicker, not the punter. It's a Daily Wire Ventures company. So you know these vitamins are made right here in good old USA, right? Not cheap imported or outsourced from some country you and I both can't pronounce. Just good old American quality, like the football that we love. We wouldn't endorse this product if we didn't believe in it. And this vitamin's got a good minty smell, too. It doesn't smell like those typical vitamins you have that are nasty. And with diets nowadays, being questionable because of the food they give us, you need to supplement. And you can also take advantage of Responsible Man's Cyber Week sale and get 60% off your order. Just go to responsibleman.com. Use code BOOSTER, BOOSTER at checkout. But hurry, this deal won't last long. Remember, gentlemen, strong America needs strong men. And strong men start with Responsible Man. That's responsibleman.com. Use that code BOOSTER. Get that 60% off. All right, David, let's move along.
All right, boys, a little rapid fire here. Let's talk some Travis Hunter. We're going to preview the Heisman, which is this weekend. But first, Travis Hunter became the first player to win the Bednarik Award and the Biletnikoff Award. So best player in the country for Bednarik. Biletnikoff, obviously, best wide receiver. Before we get into the Heisman this weekend, your guys' thoughts on him winning, first off, the Biletnikoff Award for best wide receiver?
I get it. I think you can make a good argument for it. I mean, the guy literally came in, and every time he was in there, they treated him like the best wide receiver. He just happened to go play DB on the other side as well. We can sit here and look at the numbers. Nick Nash had an incredible year. He's a guy we talked about earlier in the season, actually, when we were doing some of the betting stuff. Nick Nash was first in receptions overall, first in receptions per game, first in receiving yards per game, and first in receiving touchdowns. I can understand anybody that can make the argument that Nick Nash was the most outstanding wide receiver in college football. I get it. But what does Nick Nash not have? Well, it starts with an NA, and it's the narrative. Colorado was much more popular, and they should have been with what they did and winning enough games to put Travis in this position. But I'm not as upset with it as I was about not seeing Dylan Sampson on the Doak Walker list.
Sure.
Or not seeing even Travis Hunter on the Thorpe Award list.
That's what was wild.
That's the
defensive player, but wasn't on the Thorpe. All right, Flaming Dragon, you were a wide receiver. Travis Hunter, 96 catches for 1,152 yards, 14 total touchdowns. I'm sorry, it was 92 receptions, 1,152 receiving yards, 14 touchdowns. Nick Nash, 104 receptions, 1,382 yards, 16 touchdowns. Who should have won the award?
This is tough. I think Nick Nash is a hell of a player. I've watched him in San Jose State. I mean, he's an absolute dog. But just because he doesn't have the stats don't mean you're not the best player. I think Travis Hunter, just from a talent standpoint, is the best wide receiver in college football. And Nick Nash was the only thing San Jose State had. Right? They were his guy. You look at Colorado. Colorado had a couple guys at receiver who are pretty kind of gadget guys, but they can get the job. Jimmy Horn's a hell of a football player. They have another slot who's really good. I think Travis Hunter, probably got doubled 80% of the time when he played football, especially for Colorado. He's going to get doubled in the league. We'll see what position he plays. But I think stats can only take you so far. I think competition, who you played has to matter. I think Travis obviously played better competition at Colorado, but it just sucks because a narrative is one thing. I know brand is another thing. I think Nick Nash had a great year. I just think Travis is the best receiver.
Yeah, so that's where the conversation is kind of interesting to me in that, is he the best wide receiver and the best defensive back, or is he one of the best at both positions? And when you combine them, that's what's going to equal him winning the sort of holistic awards like best player in the country or Heisman Trophy this weekend. Is the Heisman Trophy already his, Jake?
I think it is. Now, some people have said, well, since he won all this, maybe he won't win the Heisman. I don't think it works like that. A couple things that Flamey said, I agree with most of what he said, but there's a couple things I kind of want to push back on a little bit.
Quit pushing me.
I'm gonna push that tree over. I am 100% with you that just because you don't have the best stats doesn't mean that you're the best player. I was about to make that argument for him as a DB. If you're a quarterback, you want to avoid the biggest threat that the defense has the most. So, sometimes you look at Sauce Gardner's numbers. Like, they didn't throw at him. Like, I can't have stats if they won't throw at me most of the time. And then with the few times they do, I have to take advantage of it. So I agree with you there. I agree with you on offense that, if you're a receiver and you're getting doubled, they can pretty much eliminate you from the game, but it opens up somebody else. Where I disagree with that logic is, I don't think you can sit here and say, well, Nick Nash was the only thing that San Jose State had, so that's why they threw him the ball so much. Well, if he's the only thing that they had, then I think teams would double him, just like they doubled Travis Hunter. So I don't think that lessens any of the quality of Nick Nash's stats thrown on there. I think it's actually harder when you're not just the guy, but the only guy, if that was the case.
True.
I think it's easier when there's, if you got multiple guys that can shoot three-pointers in basketball, you can't just sit here and double everybody at the three-point line.
You're right. You're right in saying that, but I do think level of competition from both.
I don't disagree with that.
I guarantee the double that Travis has to go through is a lot harder than the double that Nick has to go to, being a Group of 5 school, and Travis Hunter and Colorado being the Big 12. I just think, and I think that hurts. I mean, Brand's hurt. Like same thing with Ashton Jeanty. We talk about all the time. If Ashton Jeanty played for anybody other than Boise State, he would a Power 4 team. He would probably win the Heisman.
Yeah.
He would probably win the Heisman. I
agree with that.
The logo hurts you sometimes. I'm sure he's getting doubled the same amount of times, but I think Travis, to what he can do to guys when he's in a double and to what Nick can do to guys and the level of competition of those guys, it obviously is going to make Travis Hunter look better. Obviously, both guys are getting double, but level of competition matters. That's why we probably won't see Ashton Jeanty, who's breaking all type of records at running back, win the Heisman.
Yeah, I mean, if Nick Nash was at Colorado putting up those numbers, he'd have probably won the Biletnikoff. Just a lot of it's where you're at.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to transfer portal quarterbacks. Maryland quarterback Billy Edwards Jr. got in the portal. Sounds like he's predicted to go to Michigan, possibly even taking a trip to Wisconsin. I kind of want to focus on Auburn right now, though. We've talked a lot about Hugh Freeze going to the portal, what quarterbacks are going to be available. What do you see right now as the short list for Auburn?
Well, it's looking like it's going to be Jackson Arnold. That's what it's looking like right now. Malik Murphy went on a visit, didn't sign. And, typically in the transfer portal era, when you get a quarterback over there and they don't sign when they're on campus, you're probably not going to get them, or it obviously makes it harder. Here's where I'm at with Auburn. Auburn needs to get, because you got to look at, and it's really Hugh Freeze, not Auburn. Auburn's going to be around regardless, but it's Hugh Freeze at Auburn. You cannot be in the ceiling business right now. You have to be in the floor business. You can't be in it's the potential of this guy, man. If we can possibly tap that potential, even though he really hasn't shown it yet, we're going to be really, really good. You need somebody not with a high ceiling, but with a high floor. You need a proven commodity. What I don't understand, and look, Hugh Freeze, I don't know everything. I don't have I'm not right all the time. Nobody is. But I do think I'm right in saying at this point in time for Auburn, you can only get what the market bears in the portal. There may not be a Cam Ward that hops in the portal. There isn't going to be. I can go ahead and tell you, just like the NFL draft, position groups fluctuate. Sometimes quarterback's better and D-line's worse. Sometimes D-line's better and quarterback's worse. That's the way it works, and that's the way it works in the portal. But what I don't understand is you watch Diego Pavia, who had beat you previously, come in last year at New Mexico State and beat you at Auburn. And you decided to not go get him out of the portal when you had a chance, because Auburn wasn't getting Cam Ward. I don't care what anybody says. This year, you watched Mendoza come in the portal, or come in to Jordan-Hare from Cal, who fits this system perfectly. He may not have the strongest arm, but his arm's strong enough to cook you. He didn't miss a pass in the first half. He's got that dog in him, and he can run. Right? Look at the end of the year. How are you going to turn down Mendoza and go get Jackson Arnold, who may have all the potential in the world? But there's a reason he left Oklahoma, and it wasn't because great stuff was happening at the quarterback position. So you may be right that Jackson Arnold has a higher ceiling than a Mendoza does. But I'll take Fernando Mendoza 10 out of 10 times and a proven commodity, because you're taking the same risk that you took. You took a mediocre quarterback from Michigan State that turned out to be mediocre. You're taking a so far mediocre quarterback from Oklahoma. And if he turns out to be mediocre, you made the ultimate sin twice the same way. It's one thing to get killed one way and come back and get killed a different way. It's another thing to do it the same. So if this is the best, and early in the year where you got to go on the road game 1 to Baylor, you got to go back to Oklahoma, I feel like Auburn should be in the floor business, not the ceiling business. Maybe that's
so. Right now, do you think it's a guarantee that the starting quarterback at Auburn next year, at least week 1, will come from the portal and not already on roster?
Yes. That's what I think. Because if not, then that means it's Walker White or it's Deuce Knight. And then you're hoping that maybe you could pull a Billy Napier at Florida and say, but look at my quarterback, though. Right? Or pull a South Carolina and he turns in, not saying that they'll turn into a Sellers. That's a lot to ask, especially out of a true freshman. Sellers had a year to sit. That's a big risk, too, but that's the hope plan. You got two ways to go about this if you're Hugh Freeze and Auburn. Either you bring in a guy that balls right now and wins at least 8 games, and probably has to beat one of Bama and Georgia who you play at home. Or you put a young guy in there and they go 7-5 and that young guy's absolutely cooking and the future looks bright. I think you got a better chance of bringing in the proven commodity. Mendoza put out a list that had 4 teams on it and Auburn wasn't one of them. I am sick.
What were the 4 teams?
It was like Illinois, Georgia, and 2 others. So you mean to tell me you'll go get Jackson, the hand-me-downs from Oklahoma, right? The Macaulay Culkin, the Home Alone, ran away from home, right? You'll take him. And maybe Mendoza doesn't want to go to Auburn. But you want to know how I know he's smart? Boy, I tell you what. You know when he hopped in the portal? The minute somebody got hired to be the OC at Cal. His name's Brian Harsin. So not only does he fit the offense, he's smart too. I mean, what else do you want? Go ahead, maybe Jackson Arnold will work out. I hope he does, David. I hope we can run this clip back and I get roasted for it. I hope it gets sent to freezing cold takes and first takes and all type of stuff. But I'm telling you, it's a big risk. That's a big risk, buddy. I don't know. Maybe
Christmas
I'm nuts.
tree?
It's to the point now where I don't know why we expect anything different. I don't. You're willing to not go get a portal quarterback last year.
Yeah.
Right? And you let Peyton Thorne, after what he put on the field, no, that'll be my guy. No, he's good enough. If you can't see that, then I don't know if I can help you. Like, Jackson Arnold's not the answer, guys. He's not. He got benched by his 4th start. By his 4th start at Oklahoma. I don't want to hear about the injuries. He got benched by the 4th start because he threw 3 picks in 4 games. Yeah, let's get him. He threw for over 200 yards twice. And one of them was against the sister school of Deaf and the Blind. All right, I know their defense is good, but at some point, you're Hugh Freeze, and you're going to put everything on this guy who's proven you nothing? I saw a guy at Liberty, all right, put up 3K through the air, 1K rushing, 32 touchdowns and 6 picks. Did he have a good year last year? No, but at least I know he can do it.
Well, that one's weird, right? Because Hugh Freeze coached.
Yes.
That's another thing. Like, and again, I know Caden Salter did not have a great year this past year, but if you look at that Liberty team, he was trying to do everything because he had such a big year the year before. You look at what they lost, right? Go look at the receivers they lost. He tried to do everything for Liberty. It didn't work out. Ended up getting benched late. But he knows this offense. Mm-hmm. Even if the terminology's changed, it can't be that different. So there's no big learning curve there. And like Flaming Dragon said, at least we've seen it. Mm-hmm. At least we've seen it. With Jackson Arnold, we're having to hope it. Again, just like we hoped it for Peyton Thorne. Because the one good year Peyton Thorne had, he had the Avengers around him that are still running all over the NFL right now. So, and Auburn has decent pieces around him, but they don't have that. And this would be okay if Auburn just went 9-3. If Auburn just went 9-3, and they're like, look, we got this freshman in Deuce Knight coming in. You know, he's a little raw. We don't want to put him in there yet. Maybe Walker White, and then Jackson Arnold will battle it out.
Fight it out.
Younger, but that's not. You didn't go 9-3.
Yeah.
You went 5-7, dog. You lost to Cal at home. Go get the guy that beat you. Why don't you go get the guy that beat you in front of everyone in the world, and they saw it. And he balled all year. Cal's offensive line looks like a middle school team. Yeah. And he was out there balling. Give this man some pieces, but at least I've seen him do it.
Yeah. Some guys are really good at driving, right? They're really good at driving the car. They can do all the cool turns. They can drift. But some guys just they can be good at driving, but they just suck at picking the car. Yeah. All right. At some point, we might have to let me pick the car. You can drive it. That's fine. Let me pick it.
All right, last one for rapid fire. Christmas tree, what's going on with this situation? Tennessee fans are buying up all the tickets, the OSU tickets for the first round playoffs.
It's absolutely beautiful. It just feels like Tennessee as a fan base are invading the state of Ohio.
How are they doing it here?
Ohio State's president and AD are begging Buckeyes fans to not sell their tickets after an OSU pre-sale code got leaked and Tennessee fans bought thousands.
I tell you, listen.
Wow. Thousands.
You want to listen.
AD, I'm telling you, I don't know a team right now that's in the playoffs that's going through more hell than Ohio State.
But they should have seen this coming. You know, in the College World Series, they have this Jell-O shot counter where they count the fans who buy Jell-O shots and who buys the most Jell-O shots. Go look at who won that. Go look at how much they won that by. Tennessee has their own Navy. They literally have armed forces. They're basically their own country. We live in Nashville, right? Like I see it all around. There is, like, say what you want about Vandy, and much love to them. Tennessee don't have it ain't Auburn to Alabama. They don't have a Ole Miss and Mississippi State. It's basically Tennessee. And they clap, and say hello to the Vanderbilt fans, right? That's it. So they got a whole, this is like a country. They got a Navy that sits by the same. How would you, they invade, listen to the words we're using. Invade. Right? They walk in your trap, take over your trap.
They hacked their pre-sale code.
They hacked
is
them?
next.
They hacked
I
it.
leaked that.
I bet it got hacked.
You bet it got hacked or it did get hacked.
No one, I bet it got, look, if you're willing
Leaked.
to invade.
I think the word you're looking for is leaked.
No, I'm going to say hacked.
Okay.
Hacked. They
We have no
got it.
proof of that, by the way.
Allegedly.
Good,
This got
good
me
save.
wondering about the in-game experience and who ultimately is in charge of it. Is it the home team fully? Because this is still a sanctioned playoff game. So I saw this post where there was a breakdown where it said the staffing will be done by the home team, like usual, but the in-game experience will be managed by the college football playoff. An example of that is like the away team will get like a run-out video where in normal circumstances they wouldn't. But there'll still be plenty of home field advantage. Most of the stadium's going to be the home team. You're
sleeping in your own bed.
Right?
Like it's, so what about the ticket allotment?
That's what got me wondering about this. Like, is the ticket allotment like it would be for a traditional home?
Or like a neutral?
If they're selling like season ticket holders are selling their.
Well, are they treating it like the USC LSU game in New Orleans, where it's even on a neutral site, but we sell the ticket allotment 50-50, or is it like, look, this is a home game for them?
Mm-hmm.
So that's we need to look that up and see.
Good old Rocky Top.
All right, the phone line's going to open here in 5 minutes. 1-855-236-3228. Let's get back to the chat here.
All right, let's go to Smash the Numbers. He said it's going to be in the low mid-20s during the game. 20% chance of snow. Charmin Soft, Ohio State is too finesse for that, and they'll have no fans in the stands. Give me Tennessee.
We'll see.
All right, let's go to MGW. What's up, man? He says, it's not a frost, but I'm really feeling the freeze. Sooner or later, you're going to have to win something that matters. If you miss on another quarterback, buddy, I don't know how you come back.
And y'all know me. I still think Hugh Freeze can turn it around. I backed him from the beginning, but it's got to show itself on the field this year. This is, what it feels like right now is one of those relationships you hear about where they've been dating for like, you've seen the movie Four Christmases. We've talked about that.
Yeah, I watched it this week.
Remember that they've been dating for a long time, but they just never want to get married. This is like, eventually, you got to get married, man. Like, y'all been dating for 7 years. Like, obviously, she's the one. You're the one for her. It's going good. Y'all are living together. You even got a dog, right? Y'all help the elderly, right? You attend karaoke night at the nursing home.
Wow.
Ask her to marry you. Like, at some point, you've got to marry her. And for Auburn, that's winning on the field. We can't just keep, look, it's great. We want to go to Fiji, but at some point, like, we got to settle down, dude.
What'd she say? You do want to make babies, right? I don't want to make babies.
No.
I don't want to make them.
I'd put my mask on the plane first. The FAA would.
Let's go to John Flanagan, Hawk Veneman. He says, might miss this one on the portal size if you guys already covered it, but there were some reports that nearly all of Marshall's football team is considering entering the portal to follow.
How are they going to play the bowl game?
going
Guess what money I put on who? Whoever's Marshall's playing. I don't care if they're playing Bishop Sycamore. I don't care if they're playing, a bunch of people that live underground. All right, I'd probably pick the people who lived underground anyway, but
The whole team.
head coach left. Or got pushed out of the door. Charles Huff did. He's at Southern Miss now.
Let's go to Jason E. Jones. He says, I was there this year and I witnessed all the Jell-O shots. Go Big Orange. The invasion has begun.
Can somebody get me the exact number of? There's got to be a picture. It's like at Rocco's Jell-O Shot Palace or something. And it's turned into a big thing. And like when LSU and Tennessee are both there, it's basically just, a walking ad for Alcoholics Anonymous.
I want someone who bought those tickets you're talking about in the playoff game to call in today.
Yeah. 1-855.
Out yourself.
1-855-236-3228.
Let's go to M. He says, Travis Hunter is the best player in college football, but he isn't the best wide receiver. Let's be real.
I think you can make that argument. I don't think it's a crazy argument to make, but I think I can make an argument that when Travis Hunter was on the field catching the ball and what he did with it and when he did it against the competition he played, he was one of the best, if not the best, wide receiver on the field. But speaking about one of the best or the best, you want a good shave, all right? And it's not just about shaving, but these new Precision 5 razors from Jeremy's Razors, I'm telling you, and you got that box?
I do.
Tony, right there. Look at that thing. In that beautiful box. Gives you a precise shape. We're about working smarter and harder here at the Daily Wire. Why not do both? And this, if you're an efficient person, is the best way to go it. My brother's a tree today, and even he uses it. All right? Time is also running out, so don't miss Jeremy's Razor's cyber deals for the sane, self-respecting men and women on your Christmas list. Right now, you can save 50% on men's and women's one-year razor bundles for 365 days of great shaving. Get gifts from a company that can tell naughty from nice and men from women. Lady ballers, you know what's up. Order now at jeremy'srazors.com. You want your games close, not and also your shave with Jeremy's Razors Precision 5. You like that?
Nice work.
All right, thank you. Speaking of close, let's put up our buddy Cody Nason does an incredible job of doing the heat grid of our preseason conference predictions.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
There's only
today?
Whoever I messed up on, I'm sorry.
Is that
I don't want to
today?
hear it.
Yeah, that's today. So we're going to look at them today before we get to your phone calls. All right, let's go ahead and I believe we have them. Let's go ahead and throw them up here.
Can we start with the Big 12?
Start with
Can we just get it out of the way?
No, I don't want to start with the Big
Look what you did.
David!
Oh, there's so much red.
Nobody got this right, okay? If you did, I don't trust you, okay? This is the worst one that all three of us had by far. You don't have to be a genius to figure out red is not good when it comes to Big 12 season predictions, okay? But I definitely made up for this with my SMU prediction. I don't know about you guys, but that's the Big 12. Yeah.
Go through.
Not great. What a wild ride, guys. What a wild
got
ride.
Texas A&M, Texas Tech, right?
Tech.
Let's go,
Yeah,
baby.
it's about right. Look, we celebrate wins over here. All right, get this off my screen. Go to the
Texas
next
Tech
one.
and
What do you want,
Cincinnati.
David? ACC.
Oh,
Look at that.
Look at the SMU pick.
Look at that at ACC.
Wow.
I'm telling you, cooked. Somebody, you smell that? Somebody cooked here. And that was the ACC preseason predictions.
Oh,
so not bad there.
State, though.
Cone, yours isn't bad either. There's
that.
There's a little bit of red.
Miami, if you just wouldn't have lost to Syracuse.
See, Syracuse, I slept on Syracuse. I'm sure Cuse mode in the chat. And then Florida State. Come on, dude. Who had them going 2-10?
Cuse. Hey, Cuse had y'all 8-4, baby. Let's
You did.
go.
I'll give you your props, Tree.
Let's go.
All right, let's go to the.
Not upset about the Duke.
Let's go to the next one. Big Ten.
Yeah.
Smells like teen spirit.
We've been feasting on the Big Ten. Except for
Big Ten was the easiest one. Big Ten was the easiest one. The only one that ended up, I think I had Michigan at 9-3 somewhere. I had them at 8-4. I had Michigan at 8-4. So it was.
Okay.
Or no, I didn't. That's wrong. I had Michigan at 10-2. So that's when I missed decently badly. Look, got the championship game right outside of obviously what Ohio State
Hit Northwestern right on the money. Look, your boy had Purdue being this bad.
I think a lot of us had Purdue. What did I have Purdue at?
3-9. Couldn't be me.
Yeah, I had them 3-9. You had them 1-11.
2-10.
2-10. Look at you, Coney.
Buckeyes were 10-2 actually.
Yeah, Indiana. I had them.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry,
that's
Kurt.
That's your.
Yeah. I'm the first. I'm the handsome one on the
Okay.
left right there. You see that one? The most handsomest.
Touche.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the last one, the SEC. All right, here we go. Look at that, boys. Strong
like bull.
Oh yeah, Tennessee 10-2.
Dude, I'm telling you, I had Tennessee 10-2.
Y'all both had.
I had Georgia 11-1. They went 10-2. Texas, I was just right on a lot of them. Missouri nailed that one. Florida nailed it on the button. Hit Missouri on the button too. And Oklahoma caught a lot of flack from Oklahoma fans. A lot. South Carolina did better than I thought. I got to give Shane Beamer credit.
Yeah, so I just don't want to hear it from South Carolina fans already. You say anything about South Carolina.
Yours is pretty good, though.
You say anything about South Carolina, it just automatically turns into war.
No, look, they got.
And I love it. I enjoy it.
They got a reason to be pissed.
Yeah, I mean, look, y'all were the team this year.
So overall, let's go ahead and put up the overall one. I mean, guys, outside of the Big 12, it's not bad day at the office.
Yeah, I just think this is one of those things where it's not the student's fault. It's obviously the teacher's fault when it comes to the Big 12. You're teaching. You got to teach a different way.
Yeah,
it's your fault. It's definitely. It's just the Big 12. You just never know.
It was completely inverted, basically.
Yeah,
it was. That was the problem. But outside of that, fellas, not bad. I'm proud of you guys.
No, I'm proud of you guys.
All right, let's get to the chat. Then we're gonna get to the phone calls here.
All right, let me just jump in here.
No, you jump in there quick, Tree.
All right, let's go to a $5 donation from I'm Buffin. What's up, man? He says, "What were y'all picks for Colorado this year, and how far were y'all off?"
Blaine, I think, was the only one who picked the over.
Well, I just heard
Flaming Dragon!
the news today. Yes! Yes!
I
Yes!
really hate this game.
Yes!
And you're dressed like a tree. I'm not gonna get
Well, if I knew that we were going to hear Creed from you, I would have blown over a long time ago, man.
It's always the third party that gets me.
Golly.
It's always the third. I'm sorry, David.
No, it's all good.
I'm sorry.
Good.
What a loser.
That
Big
that
dubs
should
on a
answer your
Friday.
Colorado question. Are you in cahoots with Buff?
Don't worry, friend. I'm buffing. All right. Don't worry about it. We're not talking about Warren. All right. We're talking about Colorado. What were y'all's records?
Not good. I think I had him 4 and 8, something like that.
$2 donation from S. Hop, son. He says, guys, just real quickly, Bama Justice Haynes, 5-star running back, has just entered the portal.
Yeah, look, I'm just interested on one name. I'm hearing if one name may get in. Look, is Jalen Milroe coming back? Because he's going to play in the bowl game, he said. But then he put out a statement that's like, with a picture of the quarterback group for next year. It's like, these guys are going to do special things next year. Like, dude, just come. You come back or what?
I don't think he'd play in the bowl game if he wasn't going to come back to Alabama, right?
I don't. I think he kind of would, though. I mean, he's, captain, and, I mean, he's been a solid leader, for that team. I don't. Do Bama fans want him back? I wonder if a majority of Alabama fans want Jalen Milroe back. In the comment, in the chat, let me know. Bama fans, call in, too.
I wish I had a flag I could have planted. Felony.
I just wish you'd stop saying that word.
Flag?
Yeah.
It's a great word, Jake. What's your problem?
After yesterday.
Okay, yeah, we get it. $5 donation from Andy. Appreciate it, Andy. He says, great picks on the Arizona State guys. Ha, ha, ha. Suck it, losers.
Yeah, look, Andy, talk your ish. I get it. But, I picked SMU to be in the ACC championship game, so that combats that. That's the antidote to the snake venoms.
Only way I can make up for it is to take them against either Texas or Clemson.
God, it's just such a bad matchup against Texas for what Arizona
That's
State
why you gotta bereave.
You do got to bereave.
Sometimes you just gotta bereave in them.
I bereave in both of you.
don't stop bereaving, actually.
All right, let's go to TT Tom. What's up, man? He says, you couldn't pay me money. Pay me money to take Jalen Milroe.
Yeah. You talking about, like,
To transfer.
Who's he a fan
Tennessee.
of? No. What? Y'all got, no. That's not even we can't throw out just impossible options up here. I mean, I've heard if he does transfer, I've heard Colorado, possibly. That would make sense, right? Oh, not Auburn. Just kidding. Look, I think if you're a Bama, if I was a Bama fan, I'd want him back.
Let's go to Cal. What's up, brother? He says, of course y'all slept on the Gamecocks. Not surprising me at all.
Man, I've been one of y'all's biggest fans all year.
No, I'm sick of it. I'm glad y'all didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah, look.
Glad y'all didn't clip of it. I just try to be nothing. I just keep giving y'all compliments.
Well, it's
and then
funny,
you keep coming back at me.
Last year when I was right on the money, I had a bunch of South Carolina fans that were like, man, sorry, man. You tried to tell us and we didn't listen, man. So I guess this is a clap back on that. We love Shane Beamer.
Here's all I want. I want everyone in the Booster Club to make their preseason predictions. I want you to check every single game. It's every game. See, every one of them. I think people think that you can just put 8 and 4 by every team.
It's like putting C on every answer.
It's a zero-sum game.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Mighty Mike. He says the Big 12 was schizophrenic this year when it comes to picking. What was your biggest surprise other than Arizona State?
All of it.
BYU, Colorado. Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
Oklahoma State, 9 starters on both sides of the football. What we thought would be the best running back in college football. Goodness gracious.
It was like you said, it was on its head.
Let's go to the return of the Mac. 2 questions here. He says, should Auburn have gone after Wegman before he committed to Houston, and could Jimbo Fisher land at Ohio State?
No, Wegman doesn't fit the system. That just wouldn't work in the system that Auburn runs. You would have to just do a totally different style of offense, right? Which probably means hiring an offensive coordinator that's going to call the plays by himself and overhauling to a new offense that you didn't bring the other pieces for. Connor Wegman didn't run well enough to do it. That's why I saw people saying, man, I would love Quinn Ewers at Auburn. In this system, are you kidding me? Why don't you just put a Prius in a NASCAR race then? Why don't you just do that? That's not how this works. And you can't just invent and totally change everything because one player comes over in the transfer portal. You got to find the best player available that fits what you do the best.
Let's go to Andrew W. He says, guys, do you think Jalen Milroe should go to the NFL or come back for another year at Alabama?
We were talking about that yesterday, right?
Yeah, I think another year at Bama would help him. I think it would help him improve.
Did you say he's projected second round? I have a hard time.
Second round. I believe it was second round.
As a quarterback.
36th pick.
I don't see it.
I don't either.
All right, let's go to JH. He says, is there a team out there that got more screwed this year than South Carolina? I mean, you basically won the LSU game if it wasn't for the refs, so it should have been an even better record.
Yeah, you should have beat LSU. You should have been 10-2.
They basically won it, y'all.
Yeah, it's. I don't. Again, we can go back and forth. We've told you what we think about the officiating this year in general, but there were many points that South Carolina had where they were up to win that game. And they didn't do it. Now, as far as who caught the least fortunate bounces, I mean, I think you could say that about South Carolina. They still end up 9-3, and the future looks really bright. It's a lot better situation on the back end than we saw on the front end. Y'all struggled with Old Dominion out the gate. We're like, oh no, here it goes again. So,
and you're keeping your best player. Norris is coming back. Yeah. Your edge is coming back. So I think they're going to be fine. Let's go to a $5 donation from Jay Wood, RTR. Said, Jake, I told you that a non-QB wins the Heisman about every 5 years. Was just wrong about it when it came to Ollie Gordon. Is anyone else upset with how the SEC is playing the same exact conference opponents? There should be some kind of rotation. Answer that how you want.
There is a rotation. That's why they got rid of divisions. One of the main things about getting rid of divisions is that you can play every team in the conference twice, one at home and one on the road. So it actually started a rotation. You just haven't got to see it, come to fruition yet, because we've only had one. This is the first year of not having divisions. So they actually fixed that. As far as his first question, Jalen Milroe was...
No, he said, Jake, I told you the non-QB wins Heisman about
once every 5 years. I mean, I could see... I mean, there's a pattern that's emerged. I agree with you there. I'd have to look at it. But I still think, and I think it still holds true with what you're saying, that it is a quarterback award. The difference was a quarterback didn't come out and win it. If Dylan Gabriel would have kept balling the way he was balling, Dylan Gabriel would have won the Heisman, especially with Oregon being the only undefeated team in the country at the end and capping it off with a Big Ten championship. But that's not what had happened. That's why it was the perfect recipe for Travis Hunter, because the guy that was closest to him was a running back on a team that's not the biggest brand in college football. So it couldn't have worked out better for Travis. Not that he didn't deserve it, but he picked a hell of a year to play the positions that he does.
All right, let's get to the phone lines. We got Jake on the line in Birmingham, Alabama. What's up, Jake?
Hey, Jake.
Hello.
What's up, man?
Hey, guys. How you doing?
What's up, man?
Hey, so I called in a few weeks ago. I don't know if you remember talking about Maui basketball.
Yeah.
And I just got to say, oh my gosh, I am so hyped. I feel like if we played the March Madness was today, I feel like we might make it to the Final Four. Do you think Tennessee deserves to be the 1 seed right now, or do you think that I just feel like Auburn looks really, really good right now? I just want your thoughts on that.
Yeah, well, the SEC in general in basketball right now is just decimating everybody else. I mean, even look recently, Missouri beat Kansas at home. Kansas was number 1 team in the country. You look at what happened in the SEC-ACC challenge. That was like putting a blanket over somebody and hitting them with a bicycle chain. So when I look at Auburn versus Tennessee, I think the argument is Auburn has played better competition, beaten better teams, but they lost that one game at Cameron Indoor Stadium. I'm going to be honest, I never thought in my wildest dreams I'd get a notification from ESPN that said Duke just upset Auburn at Cameron Indoor Stadium. But they do have that one loss. I think you can make an argument for either. Let's just be playing peak at the right time. I don't think Auburn's peaking yet. I'm just amazed at what the SEC's done in general. But no, I think Auburn overall is the best team in the country right now.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I hope we don't peak too early.
Yeah.
Hey, man, let's go lose in round 2.
No.
Here we go. Win every game. Let's go play Yale.
Get past round 1 first.
Yeah.
That's true.
Anybody but Yale.
Hey, give us that 16 seed. Give us like Bethlehem Memorial State or whatever.
Appreciate it, Jake.
Yeah, but rumpa bum bum.
Let's go to Gavin in North Carolina. Gavin, talk to us.
Hey, how you guys doing today?
What's up, Gavin?
I wanted to talk to you guys about Notre Dame, Indiana. So I live in North Carolina, but I am a Notre Dame fan. Had my uncle go there and been a fan ever since I was a kid. I was wondering if you guys were going to make any bets on that game and where you guys were leaning.
Oh, yeah, we're going to make bets on it. We're going to make bets all over it. I will tell you, Gavin, we have a huge Notre Dame, Indiana breakdown on our YouTube channel that we did earlier in the week that you're going to want to see. We had an interview with Brian Driscoll yesterday. I don't know if you're able to catch the show. Went really in-depth on Notre Dame. But as far as the way I think this game is going to go, What's the over-under sitting at?
It is a 51.5, and the money's laying the under.
I don't know how you don't bet the under here, because you have two teams that don't go fast, two teams that, want balance but lean on the run, right? Indiana does in a little bit of a different way than what Notre Dame does because of what Riley Leonard's capabilities are. I like the under. The 7.5, here's why it makes me nervous, and I would buy it down to 6.5. Is it still at 7.5 right now?
Correct.
I would buy it down to 6.5 because here's what scares me. It's a tight game back and forth either way. Notre Dame goes up. They're up 3. Halfway through the fourth quarter, Riley Leonard takes off, goes and scores a touchdown, makes a big play, whatever, and they're up 10. Indiana gets the ball back, goes down and kicks a field goal to make it a one-score game, and they lose by 7, and it doesn't cover the Notre Dame minus 7.5. If you're going to go Notre Dame, I would get them minus 6.5. If you were going to take, anything outside of that, to me, it would be Indiana plus 7.5. This smells like a backdoor cover.
Mega lock.
This just smells like a
mega
backdoor
lock.
cover.
Indiana plus 7.5.
Yeah.
Really?
Mega lock.
I like that too.
I'll make a bet with you, Blaine.
Let's do it. I'm a tree, first of all, and I'm also a dragon, so I'm a dragon tree.
I'm a flaming dragon.
Thank you. What's your bet?
What's your bet, Gavin?
All right. My bet is I hate Ohio State. I will wear an Ohio State jersey, post it on my Instagram.
Okay. What do I have to do?
What about? You have to go to a Notre Dame game next year.
God, deal. Fine.
Dang it, man. What a tough punishment.
Dang it. You know what? Great call, man. Gavin,
He'll probably be hanging out with Rudy's family.
You get to go to a Notre Dame game on Gavin's dime. I can't believe
that's great.
that.
Thanks, Gavin. Hang up.
You got to make out with a supermodel.
Cut him off the phone.
Appreciate it, Gavin. Thanks,
bet.
man.
Oh, tough bet.
All right, let's go to Thad in Kansas. What's up, Thad?
Gentlemen, happy Flaming Dragon Friday.
I'm a tree.
Flaming tree.
Yes.
Excuse me. Sorry.
Yeah.
Dragon tree, flaming.
Yes, you
whatever.
got it right the third time.
So I got 3 questions, gentlemen. First, I'm still trying to do my educational stuff. With the transfer portal, can you go back and get your players from the portal?
Yeah. You mean, can they come back?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Next, does OU go for a portal quarterback? Like, maybe go get Alan Bowman or Cam Rising because they're 70. Or do they go with Hawkins Jr. and try and build around him?
Look, if y'all go with Alan Bowman or Cam Rising, then I'm going to just read my open again right at the end of this.
Why not re-sign Jackson Arnold so you can save the Auburn fan base?
Yeah, we'd love for you to do that. No, so there was a lot of talk because Arbuckle, the OC at Washington State, went to Oklahoma, that Johnny Mateer would go from Washington State to Oklahoma. That would be a grand slam to me.
Well, I've got a Google alert for that to see. I'm trying to keep track of him to see where he's going.
Yeah, that's. I mean, you gotta, unless for some reason there's, problems with that relationship between the OC that I don't know about. I think you have to. I don't think, again, Brent Venables isn't in the spot. That's why I talked about the tiers on the hot seat. He's not on the spot that I think like, Hugh Freeze is, where you've got to show vast improvement in 1 year. You're in big trouble. I still think if Brent Venables went 7-5 next year, he'd get another year. But man, it's a big risk to take. And again, who do you have behind Hawkins Jr., a guy that runs a lot, who takes a lot of hits? What if he goes down? So my answer is you got to go get the best portal quarterback available and turn it into a competition. Or if the guy in the portal is going to be the guy, he's going to be the guy, and Hawkins is going to be the backup, or he needs to leave. So that's where I'm at with it.
And last question. It's going to be Spitz Boobin Saturday, gentlemen. We're making cookies.
God, I love Spitz Boobin Saturdays.
I'm not kidding you that we're planning on sending you guys some stuff.
What kind of jelly is you going to use?
So that's my third question. Do y'all want strawberry, peach, or both?
Strawberry. What kind of strawberries are you going to use?
I'll try both.
Let's go both. Let's go both.
No.
Stop being selfish.
Just use strawberries.
God, you're so selfish.
Nobody wants peach jelly.
We want both jellies on the Spitz Boobin, please.
Just make sure you make enough strawberries for the dragon.
Appreciate it, Thad.
I can do that, Dragon.
Thank you, Thad.
Thanks so much, man. Let's go to Matthew in the state of Arkansas. What's up, Matthew?
What is up, y'all? It is the Heartbroken Hog here. Happy birthday, Cone.
Yeah.
That was an electric game in Madison Square Garden the other night. Y'all got a great team this year under Dusty May.
Yeah, it's so much fun to say.
Isn't it when you just beat them? Like, man, y'all are really great.
So good.
What happened in the second half there? They did storm back, though. They came back.
Yeah, how about, what was that, like a 36-point swing from being down, then up, then you guys come back on us, and it's a close game at the end? That was wild.
I just know the over hit, so.
Yeah. That's
hey, Sam Pittman coming back. How we feeling?
I know, right? They brought him back for the actual Fire Me schedule next year. That's when your 3-9 is going to happen, Blaine, because my goodness, have y'all seen what
Let's pull it up.
SEC has given us?
Yeah,
I've got it right here already.
Read it off.
Go ahead.
Read it off.
Make sure you do at and home.
Alabama A&M at home. You go to Little Rock for Arkansas State. That's going to be their Super Bowl, so that's a must-not lose.
Oh, damn.
Then you go on the road, Ole Miss. On the road to Memphis. Come home for Notre Dame. Then there's a bye week. You go to Tennessee so they can get their revenge on you. You come back home for Texas A&M that's finally not in Dallas anymore. Then you have Auburn at home, Mississippi State at home, bye week, to LSU, to Texas, and Missouri at home to end.
Yeah, they sacrificed
all of that
y'all.
plus Notre Dame and Memphis.
Yeah, they sacrificed y'all. They're like, all right, he's got to be somebody.
I didn't know Notre Dame went to Arkansas next year.
Man,
I do now.
That
Wow. I'm Sam. I would just got out.
If we want to go 6-6 again, they've got to get like a top 10.
Y'all go 6-6 with that. I mean,
look, if Billy Napier can do it, y'all can.
That's wow. I didn't remember it being like that.
Look, Taylon Green, all right? We've seen the future.
But Sam Pittman did say we're going to retain all the coaches, so supposedly Petrino and Travis Williams both back, so that's a plus.
Huge.
Coach in waiting. One of them needs to be it.
It's got to be T-Will.
Appreciate it.
Great call, man.
Thank you, man. All right, let's go to Joshua in Knoxville. What's up, Joshua?
Hey, guys. What are your thoughts on Ryan Day's potential of either leaving or getting fired after Tennessee beats them?
And they're not going to fire him.
Look, they came out and said they're not going to fire him. The AD did. Regardless. Now, I do believe that. But if we're talking about the pressure that puts on him next year is going to be palpable. That's why I went through earlier kind of the circumstances around Ryan Day. I think not just if they lose, but how they lose. Like if Ohio State goes in there with and again, I've got tons of respect for Chip Kelly, with an inept emotional game plan of we want to show everybody how tough we are, so we're just going to run it to prove everybody we can run it, when your strength is really the wide receiver group you have, and then getting those backs out off of that and in routes, then I think it's going to be, I'm at least going to look at it in a totally different light. But the heat's going to be turned all the way up, I think, if they lose. I just think that's how it is at a place like Ohio State.
How long do you feel like the heat has been turned up on Ryan?
Well, it's been getting hotter and hotter. The problem is it's never gone down, really. Like, yeah, you had that game against Notre Dame last year. They won when Marcus Freeman then put like 6 players out on the field on defense. But other than that, the heat has just progressively turned up and up and up. And eventually that water boils. And once it boils for long enough, you got to get out of the pot. That's what has been the problem with Ryan Day with me.
Are you going to the game, Joshua?
Sorry, what?
Are you going to the game?
Oh, no, I do not have the money for that.
Well, apparently they got the code.
If I did, I would.
The pre-sale leaked or got hacked. I think it got hacked allegedly.
You just wanted to have gotten.
Well, you know, I've been told that somehow a Tennessee fan got into a meeting where it's supposed to be nothing but Ohio State ticket holders.
I love that so much.
You know, to me, you infiltrated that meeting
behind enemy lines.
Right, that's what you did. So, how much do you love your team?
What's your prediction for the game, Joshua?
I'm going to say it's going to be close. Tennessee wins, and I think it's going to be something like. Probably like 31-28.
A lot of points.
I think Tennessee's probably the best bet on the board for the weekend.
God, why do I like the Texas Clemson under? Why do I like that?
What's it at?
I think it was at 53.
That's tough. I think Tennessee plus 7.5 is a really good bet. And I think
at 51.5.
It's at 51.5 right now. Clemson, Texas. The over-under for Ohio State's and Tennessee
47.5.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Cold.
Appreciate it, Joshua.
Man. Great call.
Thanks, man. All right, let's go to Kevin in Washington, D.C. What's up,
gosh.
Kevin?
House of Cards.
Hey, good afternoon, boys of the great Crain and Company. Here on the eve of the Army-Navy game.
Yes.
Yeah, I wanted to happy birthday to David. I want to let you know that Get Off My Lawn's my favorite segment because I am a 64-year-old of the body of a 35-year-old.
Well, thank you. I'm
nice. That's a great situation.
I'm 2 years older than you, apparently, on artificial intelligence. So.
Okay. Good. Hey, and I forgive you for not following Paul Johnson, the Navy, back then, because you're obviously smart enough to get in. And,
I did shadow him on Shadow Day.
You shadowed Paul Johnson? Did he
That's
know?
what they call it Shadow Day. Yeah, he took me out to lunch.
Yeah, I was seeing her till the binoculars got stolen out of my truck.
Some of those Navy teams were actually ranked ahead of Michigan during that time, too. So,
thanks for calling, Kevin.
It started so great,
Kev.
I
got something for the other two guys, Flaming and Jake, too. Yeah, this is you guys obviously have, David, too, great sports wives, too. I want to do a shout-out to my wife, Diana. She levels up a week from now, too. We're going to our 19th Army-Navy game.
Wow. Let's go.
That's
Congrats.
Awesome. Yep. Yeah, we have a lot of association. I have a boy in the Army and one that went Navy, and obviously I went there.
So who are you pulling for here?
Navy.
Okay.
Because when I was stationed back at the academy, my wife worked for the football coaches, and a lot of those guys were Michigan guys. That was the Elliot Uzelak time, but she was actually the assistant to Steve Belichick for scouting trips. And I know, and we were friends with Fred Jackson, and I know David had mentioned him as well.
Yeah.
You guys have great sporting wives, and it's like I do. And even before that, she worked for the Padres when I was stationed out in San Diego.
Oh, wow.
How about that?
All over the place.
Got to go to a World Series.
That's awesome.
Anyway, excited for the game again tomorrow. It's happy for Army season. It's my second favorite team. It was my safety school. Had I not been able to go to Annapolis, I would have gone there. And I'm hoping. I believe Navy could win it by 2 tomorrow.
Wow, man! I can't wait for this game.
Army -6 right now.
Yeah, I saw that. We always talk about the over/under, right? I think it's at 39 or something. I saw. My grandfather was in the. It's funny because my grandfather on my dad's side was in the Navy. Was actually stationed in Hawaii at Pearl Harbor, and. Wow. He always growing up, he hated Army, right? Like in that sense of from the football standpoint, but he hated Notre Dame more than anybody. I wonder how many Navy people, Kevin, do you know Navy people that actually just hate Notre Dame more than Army? Or was my grandfather just, what like an albino?
No, he's cool. He's a great American. I appreciate Notre Dame. One of the guys at my wedding, my first ship, he was a Notre Dame grad. They have an excellent ROTC program too. And in fact, you probably know the story. Navy saved, Notre Dame was an all-male school during World War II, and the Department of Defense decided to set up a ROTC unit there. So that's why Navy plays Notre Dame.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
Yeah, even though it's mismatched. And it was beautiful. I mean, we really appreciate when Charlie Weiss was the coach of Notre Dame. We took 3 out of 4 those years. Beat Chip Kelly once when he was the coach there. But yeah, it's only about 11 times. But yeah, it's we appreciate Notre Dame. They're all right.
Definitely. Well, Kevin, man, thanks so much for your service. Tell your wife early happy birthday and good luck and have fun tomorrow, man. You got to call back next week and tell us how it went.
We will. Okay, I appreciate you guys.
All right, man.
Thanks for your service, man. All right, let's go to Jonah in Arkansas. What's up, Jonah?
Guys, this is a weird feeling. For the first time in probably my entire life, there's hope in the future for both the Buffaloes and the Broncos at the exact same time. It's usually one or the other, but never both. So I don't know what to do with my hands or anything like that.
Yeah, we call that double prosperity. It's a great problem. It's a first-class problem.
But yeah, the Coach Prime's already talked about everyone playing in the bowl game. So hopefully we're getting our first bowl win since 2004. Plus that Heisman Trophy coming in this weekend.
That is so wild. Since 2004, Colorado hasn't won a bowl game.
So Prime's not going with his son, huh?
I didn't think he was.
We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, there's still a little bit of time, but who do you trust? Who do you trust more in the long run, Colorado or the Broncos?
The Broncos.
Yeah.
Sean Payton's just more experienced, but I mean, I don't think Dion leaves after signing the quarterback he signed.
I think he sticks too. I tell you what, Bo Nix looking like a good decision.
Bo Nix, the future for the Broncos. That future looks bright, and it's going to be a long time. And you're like, the way the Broncos are built, y'all really good on defense, man.
Yeah, and Vance Joseph coming back to be the DC. After
would Prime leave to go be the head coach of the Cowboys?
That's what I'm not. Yes.
Of course.
If they draft his son.
Of course.
Yes, he would. I think he views himself as an NFL coach.
He'd run out of there.
Really?
Yeah, of course. Would you?
What do you think, Jonah?
Ain't no way.
Okay.
He tells.
Ain't no way
that he is a college coach. He does not have the same level of influence.
Didn't he say he was going to stay in the HBCU too?
Yeah, remember that? He was never leaving the HBCU.
No, there's a difference between HBCU and a power conference.
Yeah, and there's a difference between Colorado and the Dallas Cowboys. We're talking about the Dallas.
But here's the thing: I don't think Jerry Jones would hire him, Jonah, because he's a bigger name than he is.
I don't know. I don't know the relationship. I don't know.
I love it, Jonah. Hey, believe, man. Stay strong.
Stay strong, baby.
And speaking about that quarterback he signed, I think Carrollton's playing in the Georgia State Championship on Wednesday.
Yeah, he's nice.
Yeah. All right, let's go to Chris in Portland. What's up, Chris?
Sorry, guys. Okay, so here's kind of a hypothetical situation. Let's say Texas and UGA somehow manage to meet for one more time in the national championship game. Would Texas be favored again a third time, or would people finally come to their senses and see who the better team is?
Who's playing quarterback?
Yep, that was my next question.
Who's playing quarterback in your hypothetical?
Let's say Gunner's still in there.
Texas would be the favorite.
Yeah, well, they were the favorite this past time. At this point, I can't pick you. I'm sorry, I can't. I got to pick Georgia.
Or is it the perfect time? No, look, I said multiple times. Everybody has their own kryptonite, right? Everybody does. Just for Texas right now, it's Georgia.
I mean, Gunner Stockton, the pride of Raven County, he might just come in there and be
some
better.
people are deathly allergic to strawberries. Can't touch them. Can't be around, even on Spitzbuben cookies.
Well, hold on now. On Spitzbuben cookies?
You can't look if you're allergic to strawberries. You can't be putting.
That's where the peach comes
all
in.
over your Spitzbuben.
No, there's no peach. I'd rather eat a peach. What's more vulnerable than a peach?
What's more vulnerable than a peach? That's exactly right.
Texas will be the favorite, but if I'm betting anything that game, it's the under.
Yeah.
What
Chris,
the number is,
who wins it all, Chris?
Shame on you. And
who's going to win this thing?
Dogs by 50.
Dogs by 50.
I had to live through one of them winning by 60 one time.
Hey, hold on, Chris, before you hang up. What's it like being a Georgia fan, right? And I know it's been going great for a while now. That's not what I'm asking. But living in a state where the Georgia assistant just led his team to an undefeated regular season and Big Ten championship in Dan Lanning. Do you like both of them?
It's very weird. Yeah. So really quick, moved here a couple of years ago from Georgia. Dan shows up just a little bit after I get here. It's kind of odd, but I will say people are much more friendly now, especially when I walk around town in my Georgia gear.
Yeah, I bet.
The team's doing much better. So
I bet. You better hope they could meet in the Natty, too. That'd put you in an
tell
interesting
Dan Lanning to quit following you around.
Yeah, tell Dan to quit following you, too.
Appreciate it, Chris. Thanks, man.
Appreciate it. He's dying.
Right, let's go to Seth in the great state of Alabama. What's up, Seth?
What's going on, gentlemen? How are we doing today?
What is that?
What's up, dude?
It's David's birthday.
I was about to say, I got a few things to knock off my list. This is my first time. I'm a long-time listener, first-time caller.
There we go.
Love the show. Appreciate what you guys do. I'll start with David. Happy birthday.
Thank you, sir.
get off my lawn. It's one of my favorite segments of the show for sure. Dragon Tree, love the fit, bro.
No, you don't.
Yeah, you do. It's great. So,
Dragon Tree, what a great name.
It's great, David. Get over it, all right? I'm a tree. I'm a tree because of the way I am.
We unfortunately graduated high school together, so I know, like, anything Blaine does on the show, I know that's just Blaine doing him.
Look, you
That's
want
100%. You can't ever
talk about someone who's nasty with a basketball in their hands.
Really?
Oh, nice. So say something good about me now.
He played football, but, hey, he can shoot that thing. I'll say that.
Let's go.
Jake, I referenced, the North Alabama over. Appreciate that.
Oh, yeah.
Glad we hit that. Don't know how it happened, but it was close.
That was wild.
Definitely. Anytime you reference NASCAR on the show, too, I appreciate that as well.
Big NASCAR guy.
Love circles. Favorite shape.
My question is, am I crazy to think a 2-quarterback system at Bama next year is possible or an option, I guess you could say?
Well,
that's a great question.
Cone, obviously, tell me what you think about what I think about this.
Okay.
Because you know that I know that I
already can't stand it.
Here's what I'd say. It depends on the system and who the 2 quarterbacks are. Like, I like these examples of it being a disaster. Like, look at what happened with the SMU at the beginning of this year. Didn't work out the way they were doing it. But it's a difference between having 2 guys that are co-starters and a guy that's a starter and a guy that's a package guy. I'm not talking about working at UPS. Like Chris Leak and Tim Tebow. That worked out pretty well. Look at even Quinn Ewers and Arch Manning with the way they're doing it. That's a lot different than, hey, you're half the starter and I'm the other half of the starter. I don't think that works over the long run. I don't think that that's the best way to go about it. So it depends on the system, and it depends on who's doing it and how they're being deployed.
Yes, to me it works best when there are 2 different skill sets, like you're talking about. You have a traditional pocket passer and then someone else who can run short yardage goal line situations. But it also helps, too, when there's an age differential, right? I mean, Chris Leak was an older guy, drop back passer. Tim Tebow was a freshman. He wasn't going to start from the jump anyway, but then he provided a skill set to be able to help in short yardage, 4th-and-1 situations. They win the national championship. If you're asking me if I think it's going to work with Jalen Milroe, who already finished 6th in the Heisman Trophy one year, right? Already is a dual threat guy himself.
I would love to have him at Auburn. Send him to us.
Who's he going to split time with? He'd be out of there.
Yeah,
right?
that's exactly.
I don't know. That's what I think, Seth.
Well, I appreciate that, guys. I'll go ahead and get off the phone. I'm going to try and call in more now that you guys are live in the afternoon. It definitely works with my schedule a lot better at work, but I'll go ahead and get off the line and appreciate you guys taking my call today.
Thanks, Seth. I'll play basketball one day. All right, we're over the time, but I can't leave one caller on the line. Zach B., quickly, what's on your mind, brother, in Knoxville?
Hey, what's up? Happy Flaming Dragon Tree Friday.
Yes, the tree is aflame with dragons.
Look outside. I'm in your window.
Oh no, he's there.
Bring him inside.
He said, oh, no, he's there.
What's up, Zach?
So, all right. So, real quick, going back to the Get Off My Lawn segment yesterday, a little background about myself. Blue-collar worker. I make machines and maintain machines that make toilet paper. And, brother, let me tell you, we don't make anything as soft as that law.
No.
Just telling you that right now.
The Geppetto of toilet paper talking trash. I love it.
Second thing. The Vol takeover of OSU. I actually know, apparently on Vol Twitter, it leaked how it happened. You gentlemen would like to know.
Talk to us.
Please.
So, a Vol fan was in a Ohio State fan, season ticket holder group, somehow got in there. And one of the Ohio State season ticket holders was like, if anyone here is not a season ticket holder and wants the pre-sale code that they give us, let us know. You just have to prove that you're an Ohio State fan. He goes to Photoshop and photoshops a picture of himself in an Ohio State jersey.
No way.
To prove it to them. They believe it. Send him the code. By the way, boys, since this is always already out or whatever on Twitter, it's basically everywhere. The code was OSUFB. That's it.
It's like, dude, 1, 2, 3, 4 are your birthday.
That, first off, like,
infiltration.
The password was password.
Infiltration, Dave.
That's what I'm trying to say. Look, Tennessee basically has their own athletic industrial complex. Like, and I'm not talking about the building.
Lockheed Knoxville.
Yeah, like they've been raising like this kid. The person they sent to do this, they've been teaching him since he's like 7. Like he probably is like a black belt. He knows
He
more.
can speak Ohioan.
Yeah,
you know, it's just like it matters that much.
Yeah, he's been in Toledo for the last 8 years, just taking notes and watching the way the roads work.
Mm-hmm.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
good information there.
Great call, man.
Thank you, man. Thanks everybody for calling in.
Interesting.
I knew it.
All right,
infiltration.
Let's get to the bets for today. I want to say something last night. That NFL product was trash. I'm a defensive guy. It's trash. Garbage. Terrible.
It was bad.
Trying to think what trash was in Spanish. I couldn't remember.
Cooper Kupp had 0 fantasy points.
I had 0 fun watching that game.
Yeah, I bet a first touchdown. I was like, at some point, I was
yeah,
like,
so thank goodness we got mid-level college basketball tonight to save us. Omaha, Northern Iowa. All right. One of the reasons I like Northern Iowa, remember a couple years ago, they had that little white boy with the curly hair, Farouk Manesh?
Yeah.
Cash festival.
Farouk Manesh.
Yeah, guess what? I just made another 3. Give me the over 142 right there at minus 112. Then, sneaky good game. Nebraska, Indiana. I think Nebraska's got them at home. Indiana's a 4.5-point dog, but I like the over. This game will go into overtime at 155. That's at minus 112, David.
Give me Indiana tonight, plus 4.5. That's minus 112 on the odds. And then I'm going to take Georgia Southern, plus 11.5, minus 112.
They put a little hat on
Whoa,
They put a little hat on them.
Put a little hat on them. All right, not talking about yesterday. Bring up my bets. Bring up my bets.
All right, bring up Blaine's bets.
Dog Connect, the Great White Hope, 3 plus 3s. All right, going off at plus 150. Believe. All right, yes. Wow, it's amazing how quick.
Barney?
It's amazing
Why is this
Barney? It's amazing how quick y'all can turn around.
Why is this Barney in a dark fantasy?
It's wild, right? That looks great. Those chompers on it. All right, speaking about white, South Dakota State, plus 9.5, minus 118, big cover.
It looks like your head's so much bigger than your body.
What?
Look at the...
I'm a tree. All right?
Go to the next one, please, God, please. Ace is going to take UTSA minus 7.5 at minus 112. And then Colorado on the hardwood at minus 9. That's going off at minus 112. All right. The under didn't hit today because I blew it. All right?
Yeah.
I take full responsibility.
Did we play the graphic?
Yeah, we already played it.
Okay.
They played it.
Are you sure?
Yeah, we played it.
All right, let's get these donations. If you donated today, guys, thank y'all so much. Really appreciate it. We have 2 $20 donations from Flint Ironstag. I'm going to go with the first one. Flaming Dragon as a tree equals flaming tree equals burning bush. He's basically God.
I mean...
That's
sound logic there.
Signs.
We got to control what he wears from now on.
That's what, look at him. You want to talk about megalomania?
Hold on.
Yeah. That's not what that
All right, he said, his next one, could the Ohio Brown Eyes lure in Dion if they fire Day? Plus, Auburn can have an orgy next year. Love the show. Gentlemen, have a Merry Christmas and go blue. Plant the flag.
Oh, yeah, Alex Orgy in the transfer portal.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. You better learn to start speaking running back. As far as Ryan Day being replaced by Prime, I don't see it.
Let's go to a $10 donation from Booster Club Cards. Your favorite Tennessee fan decided that it would be a good idea to post a Photoshop head of Brutus Buckeye onto their body. I can't say that. Can't say that. He deserves complete condemnation for this. Let him have it. He needs to go to jail.
Okay. Well, I'm very interested to see what was reading in between the lines.
Let's go to a $10 donation from RG. He says, with him being a walking billboard for West Virginia and Rich Rod, what is that Pat McAfee effect when it comes to recruiting in the portal under the new Rich Rod era?
There had been 2 people I would have called first if I was Rich Rod, and both their names are Pat. Pat McAfee for money and Pat White for sons.
Mm-hmm. Let's go to a $2 donation from Garrett Cole. What's up, Garrett? He says, Gamecock fan here. Sorry about the fan base, fellas.
It's all good.
No, look, I think it's great.
I got a lot of South Carolina fans that are friends.
They all hate me, but I'm cool.
Yeah, they hate Blaine. None of them.
Go be great next year.
Yeah.
Get in the playoffs.
For sure. $10 donation from David. Appreciate it, David. Did y'all see a quote-unquote analyst, Mike Renner, use misleading/false information on Twitter to justify not voting for Nash for the Biletnikoff? The idiot got community noted. Dave,
we were talking about that. Kennesaw State, he got wrong, right? FCS, FBS.
Look, all votes. I'm a Broyles Award voter and a Lombardi Award voter. I would have no problem making both of those publicly known. No problem at all. I'll stand on top of the highest point in the middle of town and do it.
You didn't have to flex on us like that.
What?
You didn't have to flex on us like that, dude.
That was using an example.
It's David's birthday and I'm a tree. Like, I just don't get it. $2 donation from Crain & Co. memes. I can't wait for Ohio State to smoke the Vols. We'll see. $5 donation from Flaming Dragon Friday over. And you bet your bottom dollar to hit today. Happy birthday, Cone. I just have to say, great interview with Brian yesterday. I cannot wait for the playoffs to keep up the amazing breakdowns, fellas. I'm loving it.
Thank you, dog.
$5 donation from Garrett. Appreciate it, Garrett. More in Crain & Co. NCAA 25 content over the offseason. Also, happy B-Day, Cone. Love the new song.
Thank you.
Look, any questions about NCAA y'all want, just throw them my way.
Yeah, I need to, like, if I wasn't just about to have a human child, like, I could just give it more time, but it's just not.
A lot of drama in my dynasty right now. A lot of drama.
Yeah, it's because you iced everybody out. You know,
not my fault. It was a glitch in the game.
They'll make a 30 for 30 about what you did.
It was a glitch in the game. Okay, we already read that. Let's go to a $5 donation from Carson. Appreciate it. Flaming Dragon wearing a Trust Tree outfit, so you know he's spitting straight facts. Question, if Lee Corso retires, who replaces him on game day?
Hadn't he been replaced? Like, wasn't that? I thought that was
us.
Nick Saban.
We should.
No.
That's the way I see it.
Yeah, kind of.
should replace Lee Corso.
Nick's his replacement.
Nick's and Saban's the new Corso. Are they going to start making him? No way Saban put stuff on his head.
No.
Somebody's going to start doing
No one will do
That's
that.
Pat.
That's his thing.
If anybody does.
They get Lou Holtz out there, pick Notre Dame every time. Notre Dame.
So much happening right now.
Yeah. $10 donation from Spy Guy 024. Happy birthday, David. I also leveled up to 27 yesterday.
Nice.
College football question. If you were a recruiter for Minnesota, what would be your pitch to convince players to come play for you?
I mean, Minnesota, they've got facilities. I mean, you've got capability. You're in the Big Ten. I mean, the pitch would be a fun, dynamic offense. Like, that's the thing. Like, Minnesota's just like, hey, man, Minnesota's here. There's nothing. Like, man, PJ Fleck tried it with the row the boat stuff, but then everybody realized that boats don't go far in the snow.
Look what Indiana just did. Why can't we do that?
Why can't we do that? That's exactly right.
All right, $2 donation from Laura. Appreciate it, Laura. Happy birthday, David Cone. $2 donation from Serb. Happy birthday, Buckeye man. $10 donation from Quattro. Says JMU coach Bob Chesney said those who enter the portal aren't welcome back. I personally like this attitude, but how do y'all look at it when your coach says that?
I don't blame them. There's no coming back. All right, you want to go run away with the guy who owns the burger joint in town? That's fine, but the door won't be. It's going to be locked when you come back.
$2 donation from a Hayden guy says correct poll should be who should win the Heisman, and that should be Ashton Genty.
What did you put in the poll?
Who will win the Heisman?
Oh, that is a big difference.
With all four choices, or
yes,
yeah, who will? I mean, besides it either way.
$5 donation from Big Rick. He says, boys, huge weekend. I know we got to be accepting of everyone, but can we get a beat Navy up in here? Let's go.
My grandfather would not be happy if I said go Army, beat Navy, but I did just
go Army, beat Navy. I'm taking y'all to cover.
Go Navy, beat Army.
After what y'all did to me last week, I don't know if I should. Let's go to a $5 donation from Humping Badger. Happy birthday to that scoundrel, David Cone. He may not be holding me captive in his basement anymore, but he'll always be my favorite criminal. $10 donation from David Street. Appreciate it, David. Happy birthday, my man, the myth, the legend, the rocket arm himself, Mr. David Cone. You're welcome to my lawn anytime, good sir. But hang on, I need to mow it real. Appreciate all the donations today, guys, and make sure we don't have any more. Nope, we're good. Let's get to this poll. Who will win the Heisman? Travis Hunter, Ashton Genty, Dylan Gabriel, or Cam Ward?
Well, I'm going to go under the assumption that they Let me get one of them.
Huh? You guys want chocolate chip?
Man, what do you mean?
Pumpkin bread?
Man, are you kidding me?
Jake, a little help, bud?
Huh?
You know. At least y'all get to see how he really is.
That's so not true.
He did.
I would say they understood the question. They said Travis Hunter will win the Heisman 71%.
Yeah. Travis Hunter.
Oh, David, these are elite. What'd you say?
85%.
Cam Ward, 4%. Dylan Gabriel, 4%. Ashton Genty, 34%. Travis Hunter, 57%.
Okay.
Darby Lou make these?
Yes, he did.
Thanks, Darby.
Thank you, Bug.
Thank you, Darby. All right, well, I screwed up. All right, I said his name. Take responsibility for it. Enjoy the weekend. We appreciate you guys being here. Check out Responsible Man, Jeremy's Razors, and like the chances of this pumpkin chocolate cupcake of deliciousness surviving the next 5 minutes. We're gone.
Attaboy.
And the paper was coming off. Like hitting a slider.